on the next move, so you know, don't.
All right, what's up? Just a few things I wanted to discuss. Oh. Get this set up here. I sent out some requests to people, but a lot of people are out because it's nice. So I don't know if anybody will come on. Like I said, just wanted to get on here, discuss some Bigfoot. I was bored, needed something to do. So recently, we were talking in a podcast the other day. There was a trackway found by a gentleman named Paul. It was quite interesting. Let me get this sent out. Give me a second. I know they actually took some plaster cast, but it was like a mile long trackway. I think it was Paul Gardner was his name. I have to check more about that. I just got an email back. Let's see. Cliff Barrickman. I had sent him some photos and stuff. Sorry about the delay getting back to you. Your email was in the wrong place. It took some time. Yada, yada. Interested in the two casts and the dark figure in the snow with the skier comparison. So I will have to get back to him on that. So this live thing is like my first time doing it the right way. 95% of the time I do it the wrong way, and it is a pain. So I am going to try to share some photos here, if I can find them. And I was going to discuss them as long as I can find them. As long as they'll let me do a screen share here. So let me pull this up. All right, let me see. I got the photos. Hopefully I can do a screen share and show you guys. Almost there. Let me close this, open this. Long process. All right, some of the structures that we were finding, let me see. Okay, so hopefully I'll be able to screen share this structure here. I'm really hoping. Let's see, go here and open that. And screen share it. Hopefully. Let me see. Oh, come on, you're not going to let me do it? Well, of course not. I can do that probably. Let me see what happens when I do this. Whoa. That's crazy. Didn't want to do that. This screen share tool is terrible. Because it will not allow me to share the photos that I want to share. I don't want to share my entire screen. I want to share, what is that? Nope, not that either. I swear it'll let me share everything but. Anyway, there were some structures I wanted to talk about. In regards to winter, I'm going to continue to try to get this to share. But for some reason, I don't know why it won't. See, I have the damn thing right here. Let me see. Edit. No. If I share that, that may... And I don't know why it's doing that. That's odd. It's giving me like 15 of them. I can see the photo here that I want to share when it's up. I'm wondering... All right, you guys have the chat, right? So what I'll do, let me close this and close this. Let me get the chat back up. So I'm going to try to share it, and then let me know if you guys can see it. Because I'm going to do it kind of backwards. I just don't know if it'll work. I'm going to share, but then I'm going to open that. So I don't know if you can see that. So let me close that back down. Hopefully you can see it. If you can, just type in the chat and let me know. But this is a structure that I was talking about that I wanted to reference. Hopefully it showed up. That structure was taken down this past winter. And I have a... Let me see here. I think this is it. Yeah, this is the area. I'll try to share this one now. So we found that structure. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. Hopefully you guys did. Now I'm going to try to share this one with you. This is the same area where that huge structure was at, and now it's gone. It was really interesting because what we've been finding is that a lot of the structures during the winter, I'll go back and I'll show you the original. Hopefully you guys are seeing it. So I'll do that. And then this takes a second, guys. And then this, and hopefully you guys can see it. This was the main structure here. This was a structure built that we had stumbled upon in this ridge. There's a big ridge. I believe that to be a directional marker from what we've learned and what other people have talked about. And the amazing part is this was dismantled, taken down. So what we did is we went to another location and checked out another location, and the same thing happened. Wintertime, bam, obsolete, gone. I'll show, hopefully you're seeing this. If you can message me down there, at least so I know. I'm going to message here. That way people can see it. Then I'm going to go and do this. And I'll try to share the other structure with you. If I can find it in my stuff. Either way, it's here somewhere. Aha, there it is. Okay, so now that I've got that, I got to do a screen share. I'm hoping you guys are seeing them too when I pull them up. So this was part of a structure. It actually grew over and over and over. We kept coming to the same location because each time this would be like added to. It was added to like 6 different times in 2016. It branched out and it got huge to where it was just massive. And then when we went back, let me get the other photo up for you, which is this photo here. And then I can screen share it with you guys. Like you said, hopefully you're seeing these. Okay. And this was it on the beginning of January. We had a decent day, went in the woods, checked it out. Now, this was huge. It encompassed all these trees in here, and it was a lot taller. There were some big ones in the last one, if you noticed. So one of the things I'm trying to bring up is, why are they dismantling their structures? What is that? What does that mean? So that's why I was bored tonight and wanted to do a little podcast show for everybody. Like I said, I sent it out to a few people. It's really nice weather across the country in a lot of places, so everybody's still out. I just wanted to discuss anything. If you had a sighting, anything, tracks, Bigfoot, paranormal, whatever it is, just give me something to do. If you're interested, let me know. Send me your email. I'll send you over the link. We can talk. So I'm going to share a couple other photos here. If somebody can let me know at least if I'm sharing them, because this tool is a little different in here for me. So let's go here, and I'm going to share this photo. What it is it's zoomed in. I don't know if I have the original here in the computer or not. I know it was on my phone, but let's go ahead. Nope, that's a video. Okay, so let's go here. Let's share this one. Go here, screen share, pull it up. Hopefully you guys can see that now. So this here, let me see if I can. This was about 35 feet away from us. And I shared the original on my Facebook page. a friend of mine was walking through, you know, just doing a normal thing, photoing everything. And I go through all our photos, and one of the main things, you know, I do is I got a 4K laptop and a really good screen, so I just zoom it right in and I check the backgrounds. A lot of people overlook small things, and I tell people don't do that. So I just go in there. I hate to share blurry photos, and I don't like it, so I try my best to hold myself to a better standard. So when I seen this, I was kind of in shock. So I wish I had the original photo to show you. Let me check. Let me go through this again, because I know I have it somewhere. And I want to show you guys the original so you can see the distance and how big the head actually is. I have the zoomed in photo there. You know what? I wonder if I have it here. I can share it to my email. And then I can pull it up and show you guys. And I do have it. There it is. So let me share that. I'll share it with my messenger. Hopefully I can send it to myself. I don't know. Don't know if it'll let me. Okay, sending. Says it worked. So let's try it. I love technology and I hate it at the same time. So let's pull that up. Give me 1 second. Message. Come on. Okay, so there it is. Let me see if I can open it. And then once it opens, I'll do a screen share. Okay, there it is. Now let me go here, here, and then I will come here. And hopefully you can see that. Okay, so this was the original photo. Like I said, if you can't see them, message me, let me know, because it is new to me on here. This was the original photo. Out here, there's a trail, and we were snapping photos. So I usually go through the backgrounds and look. But when I got to this section here, I noticed that. And it looks like a hand is right there. This is not a bear. Honestly, I don't know what this is. The only thing I can label it as is a juvenile Bigfoot, because I really don't know. Let me stop sharing that. Close that. I hope you guys were able to see it. Let me share the zoomed in version again for you. And that is the zoomed in version right there. What you see, what I see is an eye, a nose. You can almost see the red on the nose here. You can see something, the lips almost looks red here also. This to me looks like a hand, like a digit, a digit. In the woods, you don't get a lot of rounds. Like this is round, you know, everything is vertical or horizontal, or, you know, you don't get things like this. And I mean, you can zoom it right in. You can actually see a slit in the eye, like on my 4K screen. It's weird though, because I've never seen a Bigfoot look like this. So I really don't know. I mean, it's got like these chubby cheeks. It has a different, like a two-tone color face. It's like lighter and then darker. You can see the round. If it wasn't zoomed in so much, you can see them a little bit of a conical head, but not too much. And usually the juveniles don't have like a conical head yet. The sagittal crest hasn't formed. That's kind of what we believe. So this is, you know, some of the things I wanted to discuss and what people thought, what these photos were, you know, what they could be. It's interesting to me. I mean, so is it a juvenile Bigfoot? I don't know. It's just something that was interesting. Like I said, we took that photo. That was last year. I'm going to say June. It was in June. Yeah, the end of June, around the end of June. I tell people, when you get out there and you're looking for Bigfoot, doing your thing, snap your photos, guys. Take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos. Please do it for me. Do it for you. You'll get a lot more evidence. It becomes second nature. Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing these. So let's go ahead and share some more. Let's go ahead and share this one. This was taken out of a film by a friend of ours, Leonard Mott. Rolling Hills Bigfoot is what we dubbed it, because the area is it's hills and creek bed and so on and so forth. All right, so hopefully you can see this now. What we're looking at is 3 different photos that were put together. I put together as a collage. So I'll explain a little bit. Ultimately, what was going on, we were casting a footprint and we were down in like a creek bed. And as I looked up over my team member's shoulder, I seen what I believed was a Sasquatch in the trail looking at us, and it jumped up over like the bank. So I immediately got up. You could check this out in Rolling Hills Bigfoot video on my YouTube channel. And I started running toward it, not running, but, you know, as fast as I could, with my camera. And I told him, get his camera up here. And so we scoured the area and we looked for like a half an hour. We did find some, what looked to be impressions that hit the bank and went up and over, and we couldn't find it. It was so fast. It was unbelievable. So we kind of decided, well, let's head out for the day. And when you head out of this area, we're heading from left to right. So I panned the camera, which would be to my left shoulder, which is all these woods here. And we're walking out, and there was an area where there was, I guess, multiple Sasquatch that took off running. I received probably 30 or 40 messages from different people stating that they seen things over there. And one of our friends, like I said, did a clip by clip and ended up grabbing this one, which was fairly close to us. So if you take a look at this photo here, its back is to us, and there, that is a log. And what it looks like is it's going to go up and over that log. And this one is like a couple frames, you know, farther. And it's starting to get up and move. And in this one, the top one, if you look, the hips are fully extended. It almost would look like a chimp would look. And this is where it goes up and over the log and heads off that way. We did not see it with our own eyes because, you know, at the time we were talking and doing things. And but I'm actually glad we captured this. Because it's amazing. I mean, a lot of people say that they don't exist, guys. That's just not the case. That, you know, I'm not here to make you a believer per se, but I want to prove that they exist. So it's kind of like it's a cliche, right? Because the only way we are going to prove it is if we have a body, and that's what scientists say. I'm not all about killing and doing anything, but if I can hold myself up here to a better standard and kind of just, you know, show you better photos, maybe it'll change your mind, right? So we have a few other versions. I have so many photos, guys. It's unreal. This is the one Cliff Barackman was interested in that I just got the email about because I sent it to him. So what I'm going to do is share that with you. Let's see, where are we? Okay, here, screen share, and pull it up. And hopefully you guys see what I see. Okay, so this was taken on a trail camera this year. And I should start by saying the reason I put the trail cameras in this area is in 2015, I had captured what I thought was a Bigfoot, a far distant, blurry kind of Bigfoot. And I shared it, and obviously people hate blurry photos, and they got mad, and they threw a fit and went crazy. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put the camera on the other side and go ahead and check that area out and leave it there. So I said, if they're migrating, because that's one of my theories, if they're migrating, I said, maybe they're going to come through the same area as usual, right? So the amazing thing is, okay, so February, what was it, 2015, and February of this year, almost on the same day, relative time was like 12:09 p.m. on the last one, and this was 12:17 p.m. I believe on this one. So it's crazy that it was around the noon time frame in the same area within roughly, you know, what is that, a year and a half. So they may be using this as a corridor. So I got this photo. It's zoomed in because I don't have the original. This is a new laptop. What we're looking at is I compared it in one of my videos to a hiker that walked by. The legs are amazingly bigger than a person, and it's got this bend. We don't really stand like that as humans. I mean, which could almost be, this might be a hand down here. I'm not really sure, but look, when I compared it, the width of these legs was amazing, and the way this back is, humans really, for lack of a better word, it looks like you'd be taking a shit if that was a human. But here's the kicker. It's not gigantic. It's the height on this. I'll start by saying I know the distance from the trail to this wood line is 27 feet, right? Because I did some recreations before. And it slopes down 22 inches. So the trail is higher than the edge of the woods. So when a roughly 6-foot skier came by, it looked the same height. But this subject was down a little farther. So I'm saying at best, this would be 7 foot at best. But it was very intriguing because I zoomed it way in, and you see, like, you don't see any zippers. You don't see any pockets. You don't see a coat where there would be a waistline. You don't see these things. In the other original, you don't see boots. You don't see none of that. It's really awkward. You don't see a hat. I don't see ski poles. I don't see anything. I really wish I had the other one to show you. You know what I can do? I do have it in my phone, and I will share this with you. So give me 1 second. I know I have it here. I'll share it just like I did the last one. So you can look at the perspective that I'm talking about in reference to that photo. So if Cliff is watching, he'll understand what it was about, but I'll have to send that back over to him so he can know. Just bear with me. It's not easy. Okay, camera, photos, find the photos. Bet you I don't have the original, but I do have a skier standing there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll share this to Messenger, to myself, and I'll be able to pull it up, and hopefully you guys will see it. Okay, so I shared that. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. And this is the skier in the same area. And what I want you to look at will be the legs. And I'll go back and share the other one also. in a way I like to teach people, but I really can't teach because I can only teach what I'm learning. You know, who knows? Are we right? Are we wrong? Are we whatever? But you know, I suppose I could share it with you with my phone, but I didn't want to do that. I'd rather have it right on. So it's showing that it's sent, but I'm not getting it. So let's refresh here. Come on. See, if I wouldn't have got a new laptop recently, here we go. Got it. Beautiful. Okay, so let me minimize Facebook, pull you guys back up. Let me do a screen share here. And then hopefully you're going to see this. So hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. Now that subject was like right over here. This is a blatant skier. Do you see the size of that leg? I mean, we're talking probably an average 5.5, 6 foot person skiing, colors, blues, so on and so forth, going this way on the trail. Okay. That other subject is standing right about here, but it looks like it came from this direction. It's kind of, the knees are facing this way, not parallel in this direction, because that's the way the trail goes. But if you take a long, hard look and burn that in your mind, you can see a hat, you can see colors, you can see a waistline. I mean, you could see a ski pole right there. I mean, colored shoes, the whole nine. So let's stop that. And let's go ahead and take it back, and I'll show you that photo one more time in case you didn't get to see it. And it's right here. Actually, I'll give you the zoomed out version now. I do have it. There it is. Here, screen share. I wish they'd have a better way to do this, like on demand. So hopefully you're seeing that. Now, the knees are kind of pointed in this direction where the skier wasn't. In my one video I did share, I overlaid and I put the skier right here, and you could see a huge contrast difference. If you look at the width of that leg, that is insane. The way it's bent like that, we don't stand like this. And he's not skiing. It's in the snow. There's no boots. You can see like the head. You don't see roughly the shoulder area. This is very wide right here from back to front. Oh my God. But like I said, this subject isn't that tall, so you can kind of tell the difference. Is it a Sasquatch? I have no idea, but I don't see coat lines. I don't see pockets. I don't see a lot of things that are indicative of a human. So we don't really know, but it could be. So that's why I wanted to share that with you guys. And hopefully you're seeing it. Nobody's messaging me in here, so that must mean you're seeing them. Like it. All right, let's see. Let me minimize that and grab another photo for you. What else? What else? Let me see. I'm wondering. Well, see, I'm in YouTube right now. I was going to bring up the video and actually show you guys the comparison, but it's there. You guys can check that out later in the videos. Okay, so this is odd. I have no idea what this is, and I'd like your opinion, so that's why I would like you to start typing and tell me what you believe. So I'm going to share this with you too. Let's go screen share. And then you can see what I see. Okay. We were in a section that took approximately 4 hours to go from one side to the other through the woods. So you come down this valley. This is the last valley kind of before you come back out of the woods. It's like a few mile section of woods. And I got this photo. Now, somebody told me it looks like a Bigfoot is laying there because it looks like it's fur. To me, I don't know, but it looks like a hole in the bank. Okay. So what was intriguing about that is last year I started thinking maybe they are digging holes in the sides of these hillsides and living in them, able to live in them. You know, I mean, yeah, bear do it and other animals do it, but that's a lot of dirt to move to create that hole. So I don't know, but I kept that under my hat per se. Well, the funny thing is about that hole right there, I was watching and talking to a person named Don Donaldson. You guys watch Killing Bigfoot, right? The new whatever it is. Okay. So he says we all know, he's talking away, and he says we all know that they live in the sides of the creek banks, the river banks. And I froze. I was like, whoa, you know, wait a minute. Somebody else has that same thought that I do. So I listened to it again. And when I went back to that photo, I was like, you know, that makes sense. Maybe they are doing that. So my plan is this year, after the snow kind of melts, is to get back out there, check that whole situation out, find where that embankment is, because I kind of have an idea. I think it was actually GPSed into my phone, and check that out, because maybe they are living in the sides of the creek banks. I don't know. Has anybody ever heard of that? I never did until he stated that. He's the guy on Killing Bigfoot, you know, whatever his show is. But it was just something that sat in my mind where I thought maybe they are living in the creek banks. It was odd, you know, it was just, I don't know. It was interesting to me. So let's see if I can share some more photos with you guys. I see a link button here, so let me see. I don't want to do that. I was going to try to share this on Facebook really quick, guys. I think we got something like 18 viewers, 19 viewers right now. I was hoping that they were home and able to come on and chat with me, but I don't know if that'll happen. So I was going to try to share this link, and I don't know if it'll let me, but let's try. It'll start running smoother once I do this all the time, because that's my plan. I'm going to start doing this for you guys a lot more, sharing everything that I find with you guys a lot more. So go whoop here, copy, paste. Let's see what that does. Who knows? Let's see. So if you click that, you might be able to join on in. I think I shared the right one. I'm not sure, but oh well. All right. So what do you guys want to talk about? Message me over here. What do you got going on? Down below there should be where you can message, because I like talking about Bigfoot. I want to discuss everything and anything. Let's go back and find some more photos here. What do we have here? Oh, here's a good one. Oh, actually, let me show you this one. This was the original one that I caught a lot of heat over. Yeah, let's do that before I go there. So let me minimize, screen share, pull it up. Hang on, I'm getting there. This photo here. All right. So the game camera caught this, and it was roughly 90 feet away. Cameras usually don't go off like that far at that distance, but in the front, this is kind of zoomed in. There was some ryegrass and it was windy that day, and I seen it moving because that's, you could tell in the photos from, you know, that day. So I seen this. Now at 90 feet away, this is pretty big. And what I was looking at, it's got a conical head. It looks very tall. It is two-toned. Now my solution for this two-toning, because I have seen one that has two different colors. Either the hair itself is colored, or that day it was around noon, 12:09 I think to be exact. The sun was up here overhead and it was shining down. So either it was hitting the lens of the camera or somehow making this look a different color. It looks like to me that it's coming out of the woods, and here's a tree over here. And if you look at that arm and how long it wraps right around there, there's no human that has an arm that long. I do not care what they say. To me, I know it's blurry, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is a Bigfoot. I don't see your skis. I don't see your pole. I don't see your colors. I don't see your jacket. And if that's a skier, which I was given so much grief about, how in the hell does he have an arm that long? I mean, that is absurd to me that to say that. So I don't really know. But that was the original. That is why I took the camera this year and I put it over here on this tree, thinking, well, if it comes out, I'm going to get a better video. And I'll be damned, I caught that photo that I just shared with you a few minutes ago of the black figure. You know, I know what we all know what a snowsuit looks like. We know what, you know, you got snowmobilers, they wear snowmobile suits. We know what that looks like. That did not clearly look like that. You know, you wear Carhartts, you wear a two-piece, you would see that definition. And that's why I shared that skier, so you guys could see what the whole situation was. But to me, that looked like, you know, a Sasquatch. So I shared it and whatever. So let's see here. What else do we got going on? What else did I want? Oh, here's a good one. I don't know if you guys seen this. So give me a second and I will share this with you guys. Screen share. They should make an option for the screen share to be out here, so when I share it, I don't have to pop this back up. And like I said, I hope you're really getting to see these. And I was thinking if you weren't, you would say something or message me on Facebook. Okay. So we have this here. This is a very interesting photo. Very good photo, I believe. I'm hoping it can zoom in because I zoomed it in a little bit, and I'm hoping you guys can see that it zoomed in. If not, sorry. So what are we looking at here? What I started doing last year, you can see the date, July 8th. July 3rd was the day that I had a sighting, which is on video, which I share down below. I'll talk about that in a minute. So I was putting trail cameras up, and there was a core location that I had learned they were coming in and out of based on habituation for 5 months straight. I habituated with another member for 5 months, roughly, about 4 to 5 days a week at the same time, same place, same location. And that is inevitably what has gained their trust. At the end of the year, I was dead tired. We were doing that like 4 or 5 days a week. I would find where they were coming from, where they were going, how they were getting there. And I said, I'm going to set up a camera, you know, kind of out of the blue. I was like, that they won't expect it because of the results that we're getting. We knew what was there from seeing them. So I put the camera kind of low on the tree. This camera is 2 foot maximum off the ground. And what I did is your left-hand corner here is the direction they were coming from. Out of this core area, they were coming this way to the habituation area. So what I did is I took the camera and I faced it away from them. I didn't want the camera, like, let's say here, facing them so they could see it. So I put it down low on a tree facing away from them, thinking that this would happen, and exactly what I thought would happen happened. I said to myself, they're going to walk right by it or come right by it, and it's going to be unsuspecting. Well, sure enough, I caught this photo on July 8th at 6:46 p.m. Now, people say you can't catch them on camera. Here it is. You say that you can't catch them in the daytime. Here it is. I'm trying to get people to get out of this whole nighttime phase of research. It's dangerous. You can't see a damn thing. Your evidence is depleted, and compared to what you can get in the daytime, the dusk hours are your best time frames. 5 to 9:30, 10 o'clock. Them 5 hours are key. But anyway, let's get talking about this real quick. So I believe this to be a juvenile on all fours coming across this direction, left to right. You can see what looks like a Neanderthal face. It's carved out. It's very intriguing. You can see in the original photo and on my screen, it's probably better than what you're seeing, but you can see this reddish hair, and it like hangs way down to here, and it's all stranded out. It's unreal. I really wish that it wasn't so close to the camera, or this dark spot wouldn't have been, I wish it would have got exposed more, where it could be lightened and I could see more details, but it looks like a brow ridge. Humans' faces are not shaped like this, guys, at all. With this big forehead, no, it doesn't happen. Our faces are not like that. I know that is a juvenile Sasquatch, 154,000%. And I have the proof to show you, okay? So back to the story. The reason I was able to get some of these photos was the habituation techniques. And with the habituation techniques, what they did in the beginning is they stayed far away from us, okay? And every time we came in, they would run. They would take off. We'd catch glimpses and all that, but over and over and over and over. Finally, it got to the point that they seemed like, well, they're just going to come here anyway, so let's sit and watch them. So that's what they started doing, and that's why we were able to start getting these photos, honing what we were doing. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's the most insane, unreal things that you will ever deal with in your life. Some of the screams and sounds that they make when you're close to them will make you want to run. You have fight or flight that kicks in, and if you run, in my opinion, I believe they may see you as prey and chase you. So we don't run. We kind of stand our ground, and usually they back off. The juveniles kind of get really loud. They're more aggressive, it seems, than the males, or they're trying to test the situation to see what we'll do. Sorry about that. I had somebody messaging me. So that's why I wanted to share some of this stuff with you guys, at least so you can see these photos and see what was going on. So let me tell you about the situation where I had the sighting. I think Tri-Diver did a rendition of it on his channel, zoomed it in, and so did I. This is my only bad habit, and I'm that close being done with them. So I go in the woods. I actually went that day. I broke my policy. I went by myself. Okay, that's something I don't do. I said, you know what? I got to change this trail camera out. I'm gonna go up there. And here's the crazy thing, guys. Everybody thinks you have to be miles in the woods to find a Bigfoot. That is not the case at all. Any one of you watching, you are free to contact me and come out to my area and do some research with us this summer, and bring your camera, because whatever you find, dig through it and you'll end up experiencing or finding something. Anyway, so I go to the location, and it's probably only 1,000 yards, right? I'm going to say 800 to 1,000 yards from the road. So that's not that far. Let's say 800 yards. Yeah, about 800 yards. So it's not that far. So I walk to the area, I get there, and what I did is, as you see in one of my videos, you can check those out later. I had the little backpack on with the game cam, and I said, guys, my hands full, I'm holding the camera. I had to do something with this camera. So I set it down against a tree. I set it just like that. And I'm talking to the camera, and I said, well, I'm going to get this backpack open and get the camera out and get it hung up on the tree. So as I do that, I don't know, the craziest thing happens. So I turn around, I walk back 10 steps. So I figured, there's a structure here. So what I was trying to collaborate is everything into one, right? So there's a structure. I said, I know they're up there because that's the habituation area up there. And I'm going to put it here facing that direction. So as I do that, let me put this out. As I do that, I have the camera like this, and I'm going to put it on a tree. So any hunter or anybody that uses a camera, you guys know, right? You guys know you're going to look where you point it. It's just what we do. So as I looked, I put the camera on the tree, and I got it tight, and I turned it where I wanted it to be. And I look, and about 50 to 60 yards from me, there's about an 8-foot female standing there. What there was is like a wall of foliage kind of, and she was like this, looking right over it at me. And I jumped, like I didn't know what to do. I jumped, and because it scared the shit out of me. And I'm pushing the buttons, and I'm trying to get the camera on, and I'm trying to get it to take a picture. Get a video, right? So I proceed to tell the camera what happened, and I'm doing like this one-on-one rendition thing, right? And then, make a long story short, I head out of the woods, I get home, load it up on YouTube, and I've got people like, messaging me, hey, well, a buddy of mine, Brian Hansen, anyway, he looked, and he seen some movement in the background, and he's like, hey, you need to really take a look at that. So what I did is I brought it in, zoom it in, got it super, super fine and close, and I was like blown away. I was like, oh my God. So I was sitting here being upset about not having anything on photo, right, or on video. Well, I ended up capturing a few. It's in one of my past videos, and what it does is it's sitting down, and you see an arm come out a couple times like this, and there's a little juvenile over here, which I believe touches its mouth, like sign language, which I'm going to be trying this year, and that's why I've been learning sign language, which is crazy. Anyway, and it stands up, and you could see it. It's giant. It's huge. It's massive. It's probably at least 8 foot tall, and it's got to be about 3 to 4 foot wide. It's red in color. It stands up, and it's just watching me, and I don't even know this damn thing is there. Like I said, I didn't check this till I got home. So anyway, this is when I was walking back to the camera. So it watches me for like 20 seconds, maybe 30. As I walk back to the camera to pick up the camera that's leaning against the tree, it notices that I'm coming toward it. And what does it do? It turns, and it turns around abruptly and shoots away. Now, you can also see, which looks like a second one on the ground take off, unless it's that same one. If it is that same one, it shows the speed that they can move at. So I was distraught about not being able to share the female that I seen, but what had happened is I ultimately caught those on video and didn't even know they were there. So it changed me a lot. What did I learn from that video? I learned that we're out there looking for a hominid that walks like this, right? That's not the case. 90% of the time they sit on the ground. They're using the trees, they sit on the ground, they hang out in these core locations. They're like apes. That, you know, we'll get into this whole paranormal thing on a different one, but they're like apes. They sit down, they eat the foliage. I've caught them smashing wood. They're actually smashing the wood. And I don't think they're eating grubs like everybody thinks. Everybody thinks that, you know, they're eating these grubs, and I think they're actually eating the wood. I found pieces of wood that looked like they were sucked. Like the bark itself was sucked on, the soft part from inside the tree. And I you know, I know that the trees are high in sodium. The bark is high in sodium. I don't know if they need salt. I don't know. I have no idea. But there's this congruent thing across the board where people are learning that they need minerals for some reason, that they're eating minerals. Different. I have a guy down south that talks about he caught him like stealing his copper pennies and like eating or sucking on the copper penny. Crazy stuff, crazy things. So why did I bring that up, talking about minerals? Okay, so here is a theory. A lot of people talk about this paranormal shit, right? Okay, so let's cover this. Let's get down to brass tacks here. Let's cover the paranormal and the Bigfoot, because everybody's like this about it. I've had a paranormal situation happen that I cannot explain, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But okay, so what do you and I do when we're tired besides go to sleep? We either go get something to eat, we go grab, you know, something to drink, whatever it may be, right? That's what we go grab, okay? So what would make them any different? So let's say their energy is depleted, right? People say they cloak, people say they disappear, people say they mind speak and all these things. Okay, for me to understand that, I have to have one answer. One answer has to answer all those things. How do they cloak? How do they mind speak? How do they do this? How do they do that? It's not 10 different things that answer each question individually. So frequencies to me are interesting. Frequencies can show a way that they can mind speak, that they could cloak, that they could do multiple things across the board. I want one answer for everything they can do. I'm not this guy that's Jolly Rogering around that wants to nitpick at every little thing. No, I want one answer that answers it all. And if you go ahead and take a look at a Mythbusters video, they actually hook a plant to electrodes. And the guy thinks of something. And the plant that is hooked to him and hooked to the electrodes shows on a graph that it was able to respond to what he was thinking. So could that be like mind speak, like a frequency thing? I don't know. So anyway, let's say they cloak, right? Let's go off on a limb here. Let's say these damn things cloak, right? If their energy is low and they vibrate at a different frequency energy than we do, right? Let's just say that. What happens? If you're depleted, you're not going to be able to cloak, right? Is that a possibility? So if your energy is depleted and blah, 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 so on and so forth, write a book, right? You're going to need something. Is this why they go after the minerals? That's what I'm wondering. Because people talk about them sucking on the bark and doing this and doing that. And I was trying to plug that in. What I'm trying to do is, that's why I run Bridging the Gap between Sasquatch and Woo. I am trying to get that ultimate answer of why people say they're flesh and blood and why people say they're paranormal. Because there's a huge clash in this Bigfoot world right now. It's unreal. And they can all, if you look at this from a rational perspective, down to earth, these people and these people, everybody cannot be crazy. And from what I know, I mean, I know they're real. So what, from things that I've learned and things that I know, I have to figure out a situation that answers all of it. Frequencies. See, I started looking into plants and the way plants are. At first, I thought they were maybe like a chameleon. Chameleons use certain chromosomes that, you know, there's certain factors how they can change color. But then I kind of shied away from that, and I was looking at this plant thing because when the Mythbusters hooked it up to like this electrode thing, it showed responses to the human thoughts on a graph. It was unreal. So I was like, well, that could be how they mind speak, because I do not believe, and I'm going to say this, I do not believe that they put out infrasound. The zapping situation, I'm going to give you my rundown right now. The zapping situation to me is kind of like, if we're going to relate it to frequencies, maybe they just vibrate on a higher plane. They have more energy than we do, right? You know, they're more in tune with the earth. Okay, so if they vibrate at a higher, you know, frequency, we can't see them. It's going to be like a hit and miss type of thing. And that's, you know, but I forgot where I was going with that. I was saying something. See, I wish somebody could remind me right here, and I forgot what I was going to tell you. It was important, but it kind of like made everything so you guys would understand it. But the frequency thing, it's really, it's crazy to think that I don't believe they're on another planet. They're here. They're here, and that's what they are. They're here. They live here. Are they an animal that has these abilities? I don't know, but I want one answer to answer it all. Oh, the zapping. That's where I was. The infrasound. What I believe is, since their energy is higher than ours, when we get close to them, it interferes. Kind of like what a cell phone and radio do. You know, remember that? All that situation? Okay. So when a human gets close to a Sasquatch, what I believe happens is it interferes with our energy field, okay? That's why we get the instant headaches. That's why we get sick. And that's why when we back away from it, we start to feel better all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Put it together. This animal is not protruding infrasound out of its head and doing this thing. I'm telling you from what I've learned in my research. When it comes day that they prove this, I'm going to look back at this and tell people, look, I told you I was right. So that's why I'm leaning toward the frequency situation, okay? The vibration of their energy. That's kind of what I think. I think they're here. They're on this planet. I think they may be able to cloak, because I seen something that was unreal. I'll tell you that story in a minute. But I don't like calling it that. I don't like saying that. First, we're talking about Bigfoot. That's crazy anyway. But I think that they can cloak, because I had the situation happen while I was hunting, where one came out, I watched it, it turned around, came back, had grabbed something by a tree, and then it disappeared. And there was like this, remember back in the day, the old tube TVs, you'd shut them off and it would go, and you'd see the blue line? That's what I seen. So I'm in the tree stand, frozen to the tree like an idiot, and it just disappeared. And it took me a while to come out and talk about that, because I don't believe in the paranormal Bigfoot scenario to begin with. But what happened was, I said, if I'm going to stay true to my research and learning about whatever these are, I got to tell people. If I don't tell you, I'm not being true to myself. I'm not being true to myself. What the hell am I here for? What am I researching for, right? I mean, so I had some crazy things happen, but I'll just leave it at that. But what I'm trying to do is tie all these things in. You know, a lot of other people talk about portals, and the only thing I'll say about that is NASA recently is saying that they may be true. Okay, they may be true. They're really looking into that. So I started looking into that. And back in the day, they used to build structures like even the Georgia Guidestones have it, where you'll see the stone or whatever, or a building or whatever they built thousands of years ago, and it'll have like a hole in it, and then it shines a beam of light through it, and then it refracts and it does whatever and blah, blah, blah. Okay. people were saying that they would build these structures for solstices to know when the sun was at the certain time, that's when spring began. That was kind of their calendar, their way. I don't believe that. So I started looking into when the sun and these ley lines that we now know about, because if you look at Machu Picchu and you look at Peru and all these other places where they have these huge things, one's an alien, I mean, these huge monuments built like you had to see them from the air. It's crazy. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, about the light. So I started thinking, what if the sun and these ley lines align? Okay, so if they're aligned at a certain point in time, could that open up a portal? I mean, it's energy, right? So what if it coincided? And that's, I mean, we hear from the Indians, we hear from all these people ages and ages that, you know, there's vortices. What is a vortex? It's an energy hotspot, right? So, and we know that's like a given. That's kind of been tested across the globe. So I'm trying to tie a bunch of different things in to make one, because you have to have one answer. You cannot research this and tell people, well, it can this, it does this, and it does this because of this, and it does this because of this. No, it just don't work that way. You have to be fluid. You have to be I don't know, science does have to back these things up, but you know, what I tell people about that is you can apply your scientific method, okay? But when you're applying a scientific method to an unknown, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. There's no way you can apply a scientific method to an unknown. You can do things that are scientific, but we're out there learning. We're using our own minds to come up with a hypothesis, right? So as I come up with these things, these theories and hypotheses, I have to test them. I can't go ask my DNA specialist guy that I talk with, hey, can you help me do this? Or can we do that? Or no, I have to come up with new ways to test and new ways to do things. It's just the way it is. And the people that want the scientific method brought in, they're usually not out in the field. You can keep journals. You can keep, you know, anything to make it scientific, right? I mean, we can do this, but it just isn't going to happen until we have a body. So there was just a lot of things I wanted to touch on in this video. You know, that's why I shared the photos with you guys. I was, you know, trying to talk to you about this. So you're probably wondering, well, how did you get into this, right? Okay, so I'm going to tell you my whole quick story here. 2013, yeah, 2013. Okay, so as a hobby, I would metal detect to try to keep in shape, do something, you know, kind of whatever. So I would go to old home structures and I would do some metal detecting. A lot of times I'd go by myself, you know, whatever. So this one particular day, I go to this home structure. It's got a huge well. It's got a huge foundation, cobblestone rocks. It's awesome, and it's not far off the road. I mean, literally 300 feet off the road. So I'm like, this is great. We're going to pull some good stuff out of the soil, right? So I had my dog. I tied my dog up, my German Shepherd, about 100 feet away from me, 70 yards, whatever. And I started detecting. I was there for a little while, had some fun doing what I'm doing, pulling stuff out of the ground. And I decided to go from the well toward the house. And I said, I'm going to work my way up. And there was like a bank that it like sat here, and up on the left-hand side, there was like a kind of a bank that curved. So as I went that way, there was a clearing. And I was like, oh, good. I could swing the metal detector in there without getting all caught up. So I head that way, and there's a underlying branch, and I have to duck down. So as I duck like this and I come back up, I look up, I like glance up, and it doesn't register at first what I seen. So I see this thing, I look back down, I swing the coil, I step, and it like smacked me right in the face. I was like, what did you just see? And I look up, and I was like, holy shit. And I'm looking at this thing. It was behind the tree like this, so you could see like half of its face. it looks out, and it like, I'm in like this holy shit type of thing. And we're talking 20 feet. It's like 20 to 25 feet away from me, okay? It bears its bottom, it rolls its bottom lip down. I can't even do it. It like that. Like it would roll its bottom lip down. I seen all its teeth. All the bottom teeth were square. They were all big square block teeth. Not like where we had canines. It had no canines. None whatsoever. I'm looking at this thing, and it kind of looks like that photo that I showed you a little while ago with the round head, kind of roughly the thing, the Bigfoot. At the time, I didn't know it was a Bigfoot. I'm like just in this awe. It was skinnier, lanky, all black. And what happens is after it rolls its teeth, it turns. And when it turns, it does like that away from the tree, and I could see all its fingers. Unreal. It went down on all fours, and it shot away from me super, super fast. I mean, I try to tell people it must have done 200 yards in like 5, 6, 7 seconds. Unreal. So I kind of stood there in shock, and I didn't know what to do. And the first thing I said, hello? And the first thing that came to my mind, like I have no idea why this even came to my mind, it said, you're the black guy in the movie that stands there and gets killed. And you're like the one that says, hello? You know, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Get out of here. Run. And all of a sudden in my mind, it was like, run. So I ran back to the dog, grabbed my dog, got in the car, took off, came home, and like I was literally exhausted. I fell asleep. Like I woke up and I didn't even say anything. I was bugged out for a little while about that. And I told like some family members, and they're like, yeah, right. You're crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're out there. And I'm like, listen, this is what happened, and this is what I seen, but I didn't have any evidence. They're like, well, you got a picture of it? And I was like, yeah, well, that's the first thing I thought to do, was to pull out my camera within this like 4-second interaction and say, hey, will you stay there for a minute so I could take a picture of you? So, okay, that was the first sighting. And I didn't really say much to anybody. I felt like an asshole, okay? And then the following year, there's another section of land. This whole section's like 5,000 acres, okay? So my buddy Brian, he ultimately passed away. You know, God bless him. We went metal detecting on the other area, on the other side of this area. There's like a farmer's field and stuff. And so we were doing some detecting, and there's kind of like a trail that's through there. So long story short, a couple hours go by, stop by a tree, we meet up, we stop by this tree, we smoke a cigarette, we're bullshitting. And I say this to Brian, and I say, Brian, I said, you ever get that feeling like you're being watched, bro? Like I'm going to tell you why this makes relevance later, but I said, I got that feeling like I'm being watched. And he's like, no, I'm good. Why? And those were the exact words out of Brian's mouth. And I was like, I don't know, dude. I just got that feeling like it's weird. He's like, no, I'm good. So we smoked our cigarette. And right then, 2 hikers walked by, yellow and pink coat. Guy was Chinese, matter of fact. Looked Chinese, something like that. And they hiked off, and they waved, and they were gone. And I was like, cool. You know, I didn't think nothing of it. So we detected for maybe, I don't know, another hour and a half. Roughly, it's around 6:30. I'm coming out this side of the woods, and he's coming out that side of the woods. So we're working toward each other. But we got to pass like a trail kind of in the middle to begin with, right? And he gets to the trail before I do, and he's like, look. And I got my headset on. You know what I'm saying? I got a headset on. And I pick it up. I'm like, what? And he's like pointing, person, people, something. And I was just floored. I was, holy shit, what am I looking at? So he proceeds to kind of like walk back toward me, and we're now shoulder to shoulder standing there looking up the trail at this thing. And it's kind of in a stance like a football player. It's kind of down. You can see this black thing, and it's down looking at us, right? All of a sudden, when it realizes that we're standing there looking at it, it stands up. And I'll tell you what, it felt like this thing was never going to stop getting taller. It got to that point where it got up and like, okay, that's what it should be in your mind, like 6 foot, you know what I mean? And it just kept going and going and going and going until the point where we were in shock. I actually took my hands and I was like this, looking at this thing to get the best picture of it that I could. And this is a long interaction. This is a 30, 40, 45-second interaction to where I'm talking to Brian and Brian's talking to me. I'm like, and he's got the shovel from metal detecting and he's like this. And I was like, dude, what the fuck are you going to do with that? I was like, you're going to dig your own grave. He's like, what is that thing? I'm like, dude, and the first thing like that came back, which the first sighting that I had, it came back, smacked me in the face. And that is when I realized Bigfoot was real, because I was not only dealing with this sighting that was happening right now, I was the memory of the first sighting of the juvenile came back to me. And now that I had a witness with me, I knew it wasn't in my mind, it wasn't in my brain, it wasn't just some fluky bullshit, okay? And we watched this thing, and I'm like, Brian, that's a Sasquatch, that's a Bigfoot. And he's like, no way, no. And we're just like in this parallel, like of going back and forth, like a no way of what it is. And he's got the shovel like that, and all of a sudden it turns. And when it turns, this right leg flares out like that. And oh my Lord, the stride that it took, 2 strides, and it was off into the woods. So it was like congruent. It was just the way it flowed. It turned with this right one, and then that left one went. And when it went, it was like a 6-7 foot stride, and it was gone. Well, the mistake that it made is when it walked off the trail where there were some pine trees, and it hit its head in one of the pine trees. Well, this was probably between 100 and 200 yards away. I'm going to say 200 yards from us, but it was in the open. It wasn't like I was in the woods, or, you know, this was an open swath, almost like a power line would look like, okay? So it hits its head as it goes into the woods, and the pine branch goes like that. So I took mental note of that, and I was like, dude, like at the time, I didn't think what I could do with that, but the next day is when I realized, hey, I can go back there and get a height reference from where it hit. And I was like, dude, let's go back there. Let's get foot casts. Ultimately, that day when we went back the next day, if you know Western New York, the weather changes on a dime near Lake Erie, okay? That day it was like 58. The next day there was snow up there in the hills. So ultimately, I couldn't get any tracks until about a week later. I'll tell you about in a minute. So ultimately, a couple days, that next day we went up there, there was no tracks, and I was like, dude, we can still measure it. So what I did is I took the tape measure out, and I was like, once we got to the location where it stood, and I actually looked at the height, I was blown away. So we pull out tape measure, we get it up there, and it's bending and doing all that a little bit, because anyway, 9'8", 9'8" from the ground to the tree where it hit its head. That is how big it was. And I was, that moment changed me. That's what, I'm the type of person that needs answers. I want to know. I hunted my whole life. I still hunt. Never looked for Bigfoot, never had an encounter, never paid attention to tree structures, never did anything, okay? So until I had these experiences and did a little research, that is when I understood that they're real. You know what I'm saying? After you see a 10-foot Sasquatch standing there staring you down, and the look on its face, you could see the brow ridge. It was all black, long arms, very muscular, very wide shoulders, but it kind of had a V to it. He wasn't very old. Like, he was kind of, he wasn't the grandfather style, and he wasn't the juvenile. He was like the dad, like in the middle. Had like a V almost to his waist. His shoulders were way wider than his waist. His arms kind of hung down past his knees. I mean, the intent look on his face, what I was getting from him is, why are you there? You're in my way, or you're not supposed to be there, or I was headed that way. Why are you? He was kind of like pissed off a little bit. You could see just the intent. 200 yards, but you got to remember, their head is huge. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're looking at a person. It's way, way bigger. So you could kind of, I was able to see the brow ridge on it and everything. Anyway, a about a week or two later, it was when I went back up there. A couple of guys went up there. I said, look, if this is what we seen, this is what happened. Let's go up there. We went to the damn Walmart store, picked up some plaster. We went up to that same location, and we were looking for tracks. You know, I was like, look at, maybe he's coming back through here. I'm thinking at the time there's just like 2. I'm like, duh, you know. I seen a juvenile, I seen this huge male. I'm like, okay, so there's 2 of them. So anyway, we get to this location, and there was 3 sets. There was a deformed juvenile track, which I believe is juvenile because it's smaller. It was 13 inches. One that looked like a female because it had what you will learn is that the females have like a rounder, narrow heel kind of, and the males are the big, broad ones. So I ended up casting all 3. 2 of them took, 1 of them broke. The big male was 19 inches. So I took that as all 3 of them had crossed this one spot, and there was like a ditch culvert where there was mud, and they had all stepped right after another, like they fell in line. It was crazy. So I casted them. I still have the cast this day. I have multiple casts on downstairs. It was 19 inches, and after I started doing research, so I took the 19-inch foot and I took where it hit its head, which is 9'8", and I looked at some charts that some researchers had put out there, and it fell in line. Like, okay, so his track is 19 inches. He's 9'8". It started like, I started paying attention that day. I was like, so there's 3, and then I seen that juvenile. That's what started making me change my mind. I was like, there's more. There's more. So in 2013, I was this novice researcher. Today, my brain is full of information that I have read about and basically learned. What I've learned in the field is what I implement and tell you guys because it's the truth. I'm trying to be forward with you. You can learn all this stuff in these books and you can read, which I urge you to read, but you don't know. That's their encounter. So that's why people will message me and ask me, yo, look at this, or hey, take a look at that. I won't back it. I have no reason. I'll talk about it, but you know, if like that good trackway I was talking about earlier that Paul just came out with, that's legit. That looks great. It's in the snow. It's like a mile long. That's real stuff there. I won't back other people's stuff because I didn't experience it and I wasn't there. And a lot of people say, you know, why don't you go to these other areas? You know, and I try to tell people, why would I go to these other areas when I have like the golden horseshoe in my area that I've learned? You know, I've spent the time in these hundreds and hundreds, well, thousands of acres trying to pinpoint down. And I shared a video on my page of Google Earth, how I believe they're moving and why, you know, why they could be moving that way. A lot of people say, you know, they move for the game and stuff like that. I don't believe that. Let's go into why I don't believe that. I believe there's enough food that they can sustain it anywhere. You know, whatever. Bears can, they can, and that's what it is. What I believe from talking to about 25 different researchers is that the males are the ones doing the migrating and the juveniles and the females stay back in the core locations. Now you're going to say, that's crazy. You're nuts. I can't believe that. Well, what do we see 99% of the time? Somebody calls in and says, oh my God, I just seen a huge bipedal 9-foot Sasquatch thing, Bigfoot with huge broad shoulders that crossed the road, right? Well, what does that fit the bill of? Not a female and not a juvenile. It fits the bill of a male. So I talked to a researcher in New Jersey and a couple others, and every year they continue to have new males come into their areas. And the thing is, I don't know why, but it would make sense. You know, all the motorists are seeing these huge, massive Bigfoot. They're not saying, oh, I seen a Bigfoot that was 2 foot tall run across the road, or I seen a Bigfoot with breasts run across the road. No, they're seeing the males. That's because the females and juveniles are staying in the core locations and the males are traveling to them. So how would that work? Well, that's why we get different breeds. If one in New York, if the baby and the mother are here, and one from Colorado comes out here and mates with them, they're going to start to look different. So we're starting to get all these different types of species and the way they look, and that's why we're fighting too. People argue because they say, well, it don't look like what I seen. It doesn't matter. That there's different styles, there's different types. I've got a gray one that I've seen, and I've caught him on video, and it's funny because he hangs out with a black one, and in the 2 photos that I have of the gray one, he is with the black one. It's unreal. There's so much that I could blow your mind with. It's just, I'm trying to teach you guys. It's just show you guys what I learned. I wanted to come on, do some BSing with some people. Nobody's really chatting with me, but like I said, a couple people that I invited said they were out for the day because it was so nice. So if there's anything you want to talk about or know about or give me your questions, I can see them right here in the chat. So if you go down below, you should be able to ask me some questions. Actually, let me see. Maybe I'm not seeing them, so give me 1 second. Maybe you guys did, but I can't see them. So if I open that and open this, let me open this. Okay. Now you guys are writing. Now I can see my damn thing was off. So let me go back through. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, man? What's up, Alan? You can see it. Good. You can see them all. Is this still live? This is live. Hello. You get my text. I see them all. Mike, I saw one in Niagara County in Gasport, New York. I was walking my dog on a toll path near the Erie Canal. Mike, go ahead and message me, brother. I'd like to hear more about that because that interests me. I have a gentleman that is over by Niagara County that walks his dog over there and seen the same thing in that area. What else do we got here? You're seeing them. Bigfoots exist. They do exist. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. I hope the live feed is still on. Everybody says, oh, they got me back. Good. Yeah, Ellie, I did realize there was a chat feed, but it wasn't up on my thing. I had to reopen it to get it back open. Wendy says they do eat bark. I thought that too. Let's see. Let's talk about Independence Day footage. Tell me about the Independence Day footage. What do you think about it? Do you think that it's real? Do you think they have one central base where they sleep? Okay, let me minimize this. Hopefully you guys still got me here. I'm going to try to, I got to split this screen. That's why it wasn't up before and I wasn't seeing all your chats. I'm sorry, but I have them now. That's why I said I hate that. They need to do this better. Okay, as far as sleeping, what do I believe? What's up, Dan? Dan, they're real 100%. Any of you guys that want to come out here, I would suggest like on vacation for a whole week. I can't have you come out for like 2 days because then if we don't experience nothing, you're going to be like, well, I don't think it's real. So I'd like you to come out for like a whole week and I'll take you to these areas and see what we experience. Most 99% of my research is during the day from 5 p.m. to right at dark. But as far as to where they sleep, okay, so this is what I've learned, all right? I have 5,000 acres, right? So there's 5,000 acres here. What they do is I would catch them during the winter over here. Then I would catch them and they would be crossing like a migration where they would all leave the area. They would just go through this one area and that's what it was. It was really weird. Then come May, they would like move up a little bit. And then in June, in July, I would catch them on the other end, like on this high ridge where they could sit and watch the trail and kind of just see if, because there's a trail near this core area, but what it does is the trail goes up and it turns like that. And along this whole side, it goes up and there's a wall. And you, as a human, it's like 25 feet and it's like all briar patch stuff and you can't get in there. So they can sit up there and watch down at us. So I would catch them there in July. And then in August, I would catch them, if you take this whole area as like a triangle, so I'd catch them at the points at different times of the year. So what I was trying to do is I would write it down. Okay, I caught him here in July. I caught him here in June. I caught him here. And then I'm trying to, migration is the biggest thing. If we can figure out, like a deer, okay? If there's a big buck over there and I know his bedding's there, I got to get as close as I can, because eventually he'll make that mistake where he comes out and boom. So that's what I'm trying to do. Put together their migrational route, where they're moving and what month they're moving. So they stay in an area for maybe a month maximum. Then they move. If you pressure them like a deer, what I noticed is they'll move away for about a week and they'll come back as long as there must be food or something in the area that keeps them there. But once that's depleted, they move away to the next area. I am in the Finger Lakes, and I think they have, of course they have a sagittal crest. All that is the bone structure made up of their head, but the juveniles do not have them. It's like a baby. When you have a baby, its head, its skull is soft, right? What would make Sasquatch any different? That's why you see the babies with the rounder head. Did you guys all get to see the photo that I shared earlier, which I believe was a juvenile? If you didn't, let me know. I'll share it with you. It bothers me that people try to associate Bigfoot with UFOs and paranormal stuff. Dan, I just did talk about that. I don't know if you were on here. There is something going on, and there is something to it. I was explaining that you can apply science and scientific methods to everything, but we have to keep an open mind, because everybody is not crazy. I will say that. And I've experienced some things that I don't like to talk about. But for me to jump to that paranormal world, it's going to take a lot. And I don't know. You didn't see it. Okay, let me go up here. Let me get a screen share up here for you, and I'll share the juvenile photo. Okay? Give me 1 second. Let me get into my folders. I'll reshare some of these with you guys really quick for people that didn't get to see them. Screen share. So I need you and screen share. Share that. Okay, pull that up. Okay, so what we're looking at here, Dan, the original picture was like, I don't know, 30 feet away. So I was going through it, and there's a big, huge clump of trees and everything else over here. And what I caught is this face here, and what looks like a hand to me. See a digit, part of a hand. Looks like it's up on that branch, because the branch goes this way. So what do we have here? We have a big eye with a slit in it. We have this funny looking nose that seems to be flared with some color. We have lips. This bottom one seems to have some reddish on it. You know, it's not a bear. It doesn't have a snout. That's not no snout. We all know what bear look like. You'd see big pointed ears on the bear. This has your round conical head. There's not a lot of rounds. Like I was trying to explain, everything is horizontal and vertical. There's not a lot of rounds, you know, in the woods. So let me close these. Somebody just messaged me that they've had sightings. Maybe she'll come on and tell her story. That's what I'm going to do right now. Her name is Nancy. I'll get to her in a second after I show these. It's got a two-tone face here. You can see the big forehead. No sagittal crest, but it has that rounder situation going on. And I believe this to be a juvenile, even though it looks funny and I can't say what it is, but it's a damn clear photo. I'm trying to get away from any of the blurry stuff that's been going on. It's just a better way to research, guys. You know, share the good stuff. Stop sharing the blurry, I seen this type of thing. You know, what else could I share with Dan? Okay, I didn't share this one earlier. Yeah, that one's a little blurry. Okay, I got a couple people that want to share, actually. Give me a second here. I don't know if you're still doing the podcast. Yes, I am. Let me see. Angie Chisholm. Okay. I'll get to you in 1 second. I'll add her. And then there was another one. Nancy. She's had 4 sightings. Let's see what she has to say. I'll add these people in. Give me a minute. But I was going to explain this photo really quick to you and show you. This one is not clear. But let me get to the other one that is clear. Okay? Sound fair? Or clearer. So let's share this one. I'm going to bring this up here. Minimize this. Screen share it. You see what I see. Let me pull it up. And here you go. Oh, let me make you guys bigger so I can see. And here's this. So what this is, this was specifically for Dan, but anybody. So this was pulled out of a video, our video Rolling Hills. And what I believe it is a Sasquatch 100%. It's back to us, and you can see its bottom right here. And what happens is there's movement in it. So these are clips that I put together out of frame shots from a friend of ours. You can see its butt, and then what you see is the flexation in the hips as it stands up. It's going up and over that log. So here's where it's sitting down fully, here's where it gets up, and then here's where it's all the way up, getting ready to go over that log. In that video, there's multiples that actually run away. You know, but there's some things I wanted to share. So let me go ahead and add a couple people here. ANGIECH. I think that's her. Ah, damn it. Okay, so there's one, and then the other one was Nancy. If anybody has a story to tell or they just want to talk Bigfoot, it's cool. I gotta find Nancy's because there is like 29 Nancy's. I'm wondering if I can do this. Okay, so where's Nancy? Let's see. Well, I sent them, so let's see if they want to join. Normally, I would share all this all over the place so hundreds of people could see it, but I mean, a lot of people are seeing it, but I don't know how many viewers we have at the moment. Let me get there. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I see it. I see what you're saying. Definitely agree. It looks like a juvenile. I think that it's a great picture. Thank you. In the second picture, not so sure, but the first one was great. I appreciate it. You know, it's a lot of hard work out there, guys. It's not easy. Not so many black. Here in Wisconsin, we have a lot of sightings. Well, here's the weird thing. In New York, we have a lot of black ones. There's only 2 that I've seen that are different colors. The gray one, which was a big male that I believe, and he's older, but I've caught him twice, but only on photos. I've never even seen him with my eyes. And then the reddish one that I caught in my film, which is Sasquatch footage by Ryan Reading, way down on my channel, but it's edited, and the original, it's far away, but I did a rendition where I zoomed it in and I talk about it. Give me a second. Everybody's blowing me up all over the place here. It's so hard to do all these when you have my God. Let's see. So I shared that with them. Hopefully they can come in and chat. The one lady said she had like 4 sightings. So I'd like to hear about them. She could go ahead. Dan says, in fact, a few years back, we had a sighting a couple miles from my parents' house. A guy delivering a newspaper saw one carrying a dead animal and walking in a field. That is awesome. See, I believe they only, I don't know. I can't say that because I don't know, but I know they eat a lot of minerals and they eat plants and so on and so forth, like a regular, you know, gorilla would do. I think there's only certain times of the year that they're eating the meat, because that juvenile I seen had all square teeth. It didn't have that canine effect. You know what I'm saying? And I'm getting messages and I can't see them. So let's roll over the Facebook. Let me see. Let me copy this. And then I'll send her the link. Okay. Where is it? There it is. Paste. Oh, you better let me paste it. There we go. So I sent those over. Give me 1 minute. Let me go grab a glass of water. Is that cool, guys? Just hold on. And then if they don't come in, I have some other stuff I'll share. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay. Let me minimize this. I'm going to close that. All right. Let me see. Anything else you guys really want to talk about? Did you guys see Paul's new trackway? I think it's Paul Gardner. Let me see. Let's see if I can pull. Well, let me see if I can pull it up here. Then I could share it with you guys, right? So I'm wondering, can I share a video with you? If I share a video, will you be able to watch the video? You guys know? we could try it. I don't know if it'll work. Well, let me grab it and I'll see what I can do. So let me go screen share so you see everything. Of course, there's no volume, right? I don't know why there's no volume. Should be volume, but there's not. I'm hoping you guys can see this. Oh. Either way, give me a second. Let's just do this. I will share Paul's page with you real quick. I think it's Paul. You know what? Let me type in. One of my friends sent it to me. It's the When Apache World Added Something. That's for Paul Graves. So let's go check out Paul Graves. See if we can check out his page. I'm gonna guess that's him, Adam. Maybe that's his trackway right there that you've seen. What happened? I want to do that. Okay, so let's see if he's got it posted right there. He's not saying it was a Bigfoot, but it was a Bigfoot. Okay, so what we're looking at is these are human tracks. See how discombobulated we walk side to side, the way our footfalls are? This here is, they're like walk a tightrope. And what I believe the reasoning is they're so tall that it's just natural for them. There may have a thing with their hip going on. There may be a different type of joint or something going on. But it's kind of like they're lanky. And, you know, if you were to go right now, try it right now. Go in your living room. This is what I did. Stretch your leg out in front of you as far as you can. Kind of like you're going to straddle something. You know, spread your legs way apart like you're going to walk. Well, if you bring your next leg to take your next step, it wants to fall in front of you automatically. It's just the way we turn and do it. We're different. But the taller you are, that's kind of why I think they fall. Think about it. He picks it up and then he goes. It's just like that smooth gait that they have. They don't take these short steps. Some of these, he was saying, are 4 feet apart, okay? But at its biggest, at a certain section, they were 6 foot, which is awesome. So let's see if we can upload it and see what he says, or whoever. A mile-long trail of oversized prints was discovered in the Sunny Slope area this week. It was another Bigfoot sighting for the Wenatchee Valley. Paul Graves was among a group of men who tracked the footprints after they found by a Rock Island man near a housing development. Well, it was probably coming through there at night and not during the day, but the stride of this thing was amazing, and it didn't even leave a drag mark. That's another thing that, you know, we pick our feet up and we drag. Look at this. This is Paul's footprints right here. Look how messy. Unreal, right? It walked through this orchard and crossed the road, and there was one spot where there was a little bit of dirt. Sure enough, he put his foot right there and toes dug right up into the dirt. I know Paul did cast some of these. Back in January, he examined other footprints in that same area. It's pretty cool. To me, I think they're real. That set right there is real. Almost 100%. I mean, you could just tell by the distance and the way it falls, and I mean, you got a mile-long trackway. That's some good stuff right there, guys. That's not, you know, half-assed. So let's see, what other photos was I going to share with you guys? Later, Dan. Oh, we found this thing. Okay, so this is weird. My buddy found this hunting and knows I'm in the Bigfoot, and he's like, dude, I'm like 2 miles in the woods, and I got to share this with you. So he finds this thing. Let's see here. Share. Okay, so this is what he finds. Now, I don't know. Okay, here was the weirdest thing about it. Like, he said he was 2 miles in the woods. They were so far that he told his buddy, the other kid that I know, that, dude, if we shoot a deer, we're not going to get it out of here because it's 2 miles. So they ultimately, right at this area, like turned around and came back. This looks like perfectly made. I mean, that's quite a distance. If somebody was going to practice this, why go 2 miles in the woods to practice it? And what kind of cover are you really going to get? A human, I think, would cover this really good. Wouldn't you think that? Like, I mean, I'd put a lot of stuff on this if I was going to, like, do survival stuff, right? I'd make sure I wasn't getting wet and anything else. But the only weird thing that I questioned is right here. There was some rope. That was there was a piece of rope right here. Everything else, there was nothing. I mean, Sasquatches, people have said they use rope and whatever else. I mean, but could it be? I don't know. I mean, it's odd. I mean, could they make that as a shelter? What do you guys think? I mean, here's the side view of it. Give me a second. Screen share. So it was like you're looking at the top and then down, and right here there's a piece of rope. I don't know, it's really weird, but I mean, that looks terrible if a human built it. I'm just saying, but it could be 100%. So I don't know. Like I say, I'm up in arms. If I don't know something, I'm just gonna say I don't know. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Where's that one? I was going to show you one earlier, and I changed my mind. There are so many, guys. You got to, like, just bear with me. I am wondering if. I got so many rows of them, it's crazy. Oh, wait, here's that one photo. Yeah, awesome. I can share this with you. Okay. Let me go here. I gotta screen share it. Give me a minute. Share. Okay. Now, can you guys see this? Let me actually try to pull up your chat so I can see what the heck you guys are saying. Yeah. Now, this is what I did. I overlaid this. Now, here's your skier, and it's going left to right. See how this is in a different position? It's actually looks like it's pointed this way a little bit, and he was in the snow and or whatever this is. But look at the difference in legs. I mean, yeah, she's probably skinnier. They're in good shape. They're a skier, but that is a huge comparison as far as size. I mean, it's weird. Like, okay, like I was saying, here's the trail and it runs that way, and he's actually down farther. He's down about That's 27 feet. So he's probably 15 feet away from the trail, roughly guessing. So, or whatever this is. And from the trail to the wood line, it drops 22 inches. So they're the same height, roughly. Actually, this thing's a little taller even than her stocking hat. And the ground falls away 22 inches. So, you know, see how her feet are on top of the snow? And this feet is like deep in the snow. But we, like I was saying, see how the knees are bent like that? We don't stand like that. I don't know. Like, see how you same spot, like the trees. I tried to almost line up the trees, but I couldn't. You could see colors, guy. Look at the difference. Like, I don't know. I see coat lines. I see all that. I don't see that here, man. I don't. If you see something different, let me know. Because I'm starting to lean that this could be a Sasquatch that we caught on our cam. I mean, it's not the best, but when you compare it to the human that walked through that or skied through that same area, and that's the thing. Why isn't this guy on skis if this is a guy? And why is he wearing such a big bulky suit to ski? I don't know. I can't say that it's a skier. I just can't. I just can't say it's a skier, guys. It just, to me, it looked like a Bigfoot, and that's what it was. All right, let me get over to live chat, see what we got. We got 20 people watching. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to chat about? Tell me. See, a couple people said they wanted to come in and kind of tell their story about sightings, but they didn't come, and I sent them the link. I'm sad. No, anyway, I just like to come on here, guys, share some things with you, you know, get to know you, do what we do. Okay, what else do we have here? We don't want to share that. So we've kind of touched base on a lot of everything. In October, usually we have the Chautauqua County up at Camp Aniasa. It's the Bigfoot seminar, and I spoke up there and told some of my story last year. It's a good time. Steve calls, a couple other people usually come up there. It's like their ritual type of thing. But there's a lot I'm trying to tie together. Like, why are they dismantling structures during the winter? Where are they really moving? This is the hardest time of year. That's why you're not getting a lot of videos from me right now. This is the hardest time of year for me to figure out where they are, what they're doing, where they're going, and so on and so forth. But during the spring and summer, we're going to be out there quite a bit. And if we've narrowed it down right, see, here's the problem. I can't use trail cameras anymore. Right, Linda, that's definitely not a skier. That's kind of where I was at with this. But okay, so a few videos back, what happened is we had a different habituation area, and I label all my cameras. Smart thing to do. And I got a phone call from our forest rangers, and they said, "Is this Ryan?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "I'd like to meet with you because I have some of your equipment." And I was like, "Some of my equipment? What are you talking about?" Well, they took down some of my trail cameras and my habituation stuff and all that, and I recorded the whole conversation. It's called Bigfoot and Forest Rangers on my site. What they did is they're saying that we're not allowed to use trail, not just me, anybody is not allowed to use trail cameras on state lands for deer hunting, for anything. And I was kind of like, what are you talking about? I was in awe, like, why can't we use game cameras? What's the big situation? You know, I don't get it. And they were like, well, if one person uses them, everybody wants to use them, and blah, 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 blah. So they ultimately took them down. Was it because I was researching Bigfoot? I don't know. Who knows? You know, they can say what they want to say. But as far as what I had to do is I recently applied for a permit. It's called a TRP. It's a temporary revocable permit. And I set time frames for like 8 months of the year where I can do my research. And every year I'd have to pay for it and keep doing it. And it's to take samples. Oh my God, it's to use trail cameras. It's to do anything. I had to list like the university that I collaborate with and where I send my samples and like who's all that stuff. I don't even know if I'll get it, because when I talk to them, the thing is, how do you get approved for something like that when they're not proven to exist yet? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard. So the DEC, or the Department of Forestry, is kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard spot. Like, okay, do we give them a permit? Is that proof? Is that us saying that, okay, they exist? You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just for research, but yeah. Well, here's the funny thing about that, Lindy. One of the officers in the video says this, quote, that this area is for endangered species, end quote. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, okay. And it didn't make sense to me. And that's, I started asking him about this other state land that's like, as a crow flies, 2 miles, 3 miles up the road. And I'm thinking to myself, so you're going to tell me that the endangered species just stay here and they don't travel and they don't go up the road to the other 10,000 acres? I mean, because he was like, well, on Botwell Hill, the regulations are more relaxed. And I'm thinking, why are they relaxed? What are you even talking about? So I think he slipped up by admitting that he knows that they're there and he's considering them an endangered species. Because how can you say that this area right here is for endangered species and blah, 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 blah. And that makes no sense, because the endangered species aren't just going to stay there. They don't know that it's for them. You know what I'm saying? I think he slipped up by saying that, because then he, like, you can listen to him in it and he was like, weird. Ben Allen, dude, I saw a Bigfoot. Well, tell us a little bit about it. What's your real name? Is that your real name? Where are you from? Yeah, complete illogical. I mean, I don't know. You can listen to it. It's called Bigfoot and Forest Rangers. Hi, Vicky from the UK. I am in Western New York. We are talking Bigfoot. We've been talking Bigfoot for almost an hour and a half. Ben, you're from the US. Can you give us a state? Can you tell us a little bit about it? Do you want to get the link and come on here and tell me about it? It's up to you. No big deal. But I was bored tonight and I wanted to talk. So, new from Bigfoot Hotspot Radio. Somebody's on right now. I know Jonathan Grummer was on earlier on Monster X Radio because I got the message. Chris Brandyberry. So yeah, I just try to teach people what I learned and stuff, guys, you know. I've been sharing pictures of some of our stuff tonight. So he's in Kansas. I got some people down in Kansas. Up a trail. Can you tell us what it looked like? Literal cringe. You ever get another chance to on Sasquatch? What do you mean, did I ever get another chance to? I've shared some of my stuff there, a couple of places, a lot of places actually. But Bigfoot Eyewitness is one that I did. I shared some of my things, and what I was going to tell you guys is we did well, I was in a documentary. You've probably not seen it, but it's out, and you can Google it, and they're selling it still, and it's called I've Seen Bigfoot. And it's kind of just some researchers up in Western New York here. A gentleman, Peter, put it all together. Like Steve Culls is in it. A couple good people, you know, and I shared some of my evidence in it. This was 2015. So Google that, check it out. I've Seen Bigfoot. You can order the DVD. Peter will send it out to you. I know a lot of you guys like the Bigfoot movies and watching the documentaries and stuff. It's a good little piece. Yeah, earlier I don't know, Monster X Radio was going live. And I just got the update that Sasquatch Chronicles shared episode 300. So, yeah. I've talked to Wes and a lot of people. I talked to everybody on the phone. A lot of the problem that happens in the world is if this guy and this guy are friends and this guy doesn't like it, this guy doesn't like to talk publicly. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, you're friends with him, so I can't talk to you, or not me or whoever. But I'm just saying that's why this whole backlash happens in this whole, if any of you follow the Bigfoot world, that's why I follow a lot of things. Bigfoot world, hunting, hiking, fishing, paranormal, the whole gamut. You just don't, let's see. It was throwing rocks at you. Then you turned around. Love your videos. It's 2:26 a.m. here. Totally sounds like the forest police know they're there. Hi, Vicky. Thank you. I appreciate it. And go to bed because you're probably tired. Rock hit me in the leg. You should have picked the rock up and actually, got it tested, or, maybe hair stuck on it or anything. You actually seen it run? I was just talking to a gentleman, Ben. He stated that it ran. That's definitely interesting. I have some people down south that do a lot of research. Yeah, usually they have like a smooth gait even when they're running. You had a gun on you. What were you gonna do? Shoot it? That's crazy. But you thought it was illegal. You thought the gun was illegal? I don't condone shooting one. I mean, it does. I mean, if it's going to harm you, yeah, do what you got to do. I mean, just like you would do for your family, straight up. But I'm not out there to kill one. My whole goal is to sit down in these core areas with them and experience them and let them get closer and closer and closer. 9 out of 10 people out there, guys, I'm going to try to teach you something real quick. You guys go in the woods, you find these structures, and you just keep on walking. You take your camera. Oh, look what I found. Click, and you keep going. What I've learned, write this down. You go to these areas, and when you find these big, elaborate structures put together, go back there all the time. They didn't spend the time to build an elaborate structure like that for nothing. So then what you'll notice is come winter, it'll be disabled or dismantled, or some will be taken down. What some people say is every stick in that structure is for a member in the family. Is that true? We have no idea. But if you go to these core locations, don't just take these pictures. When you find these extravagant ones put together, go there every week, because eventually you're going to run into them coming to that structure. You're going to catch them coming there. It's inevitable. And if you keep frequenting, your chances of, having a sighting is going to go through the roof. A lot of guys say, well, I'm just going to follow them, and, it'll follow to water, and it'll follow to other structures. And that's cool too. I mean, I get it. Do that. But when you find these big ones, and especially say you find this one, right? Here it is. And it's being added to. If you find one that is currently being added to, you go there this week, and next week it's got something new. That is your research area for that month. Stay there. Do not move from there. Go back there, habituate, do whatever you need to do, because that is the hot spot at that time. They're adding to it at that time of year for a reason. I've learned that, and that is how I've got some of my greatest photos, by paying attention to the tree structures. if you weren't going back to these tree structures to check them out, you wouldn't know they were being added to. So when I go to them, I'll write down like you take out your notepad, structure A, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 sticks, you know. Well, if you go back there in a week or two and there's 12 sticks or 15 or a huge one that you can see, it's crazy. You know, then you notice to frequent that. Come back there. Shooting them would do something because that's what the scientists need. The way you would get it out there, you better have a plan, is all I'm going to say. Yeah, there is a lot going on in the Bigfoot world. We do try to pull together, but so many people shy away. When I had all the issues before, way back when, I shied away, started my channel, started researching, got in touch with the university, started collaborating with them, doing all the things I needed to do, getting as close as I could to this species, and until today, when it's like you start giving irrefutable photos. When you're sharing these photos, it's like, I don't know, did you guys get a chance to see them all? I don't know who's still here. I don't know. I know you've seen some of them. I'll share this one really quick. I will share with you the two juveniles that I have, okay, on here. So let's go ahead. We'll go back to this one right here. And I wish it was so much brighter. Oh, maybe I can edit it. Hang on. Ooh, I think I can. Oh, man. That's awesome. So I'm going to leave it like that. I lightened it up for you guys. So let me see if I can do a screen share. Share that. Now let's go here. Let's go here. Hope you guys can see that. Okay, so I lighten this up. See, you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, see that? That's what you've seen earlier. Now that's what you see. Now, if you're going to tell me that's not anything but a juvenile Sasquatch or a Sasquatch, there's something wrong. Something wrong with you. Let's see. Let's change the warmth. That gives you the oranges, colds. Oh, clarity. What's this? Let's check it out, guys. I like it. That's probably why they left it in the middle, huh? So I'll tell you about this photo really quick. Like I said, I left it on the game cam was about 2 feet off the ground. I'll just leave it like that because it kind of come out the best. You can see the red hair here hanging down. You can see the head and the hair. It's awesome. You see the Neanderthal style face. We don't have that. We don't have this forehead. Like, look how big that forehead is. So what I did is I would face cameras this way toward the habituation area. This is July 8th of last year. I knew they were coming out of this core area back here. I didn't want to face the cameras at them. So I said, I'm going to face it, you know, away from them, hoping that they would walk past it. Well, this one, I believe, is a juvenile on his all fours coming toward the habituation area as he's kind of looking that way. Well, this camera's 2 foot off the ground, and it's like a cove. The tree looks like a U, and it's in it. And I think he went by it, and we got the one photo, or he came like there and seen it and backed up. But it worked ultimately to get this photo. And nobody that I know has photos like this at all anywhere. Maybe Patty or something like, but this is your real juvenile Sasquatch right here. This ain't a bear. This isn't in the Amazon. This is Western New York. Okay, guys, I'm honest with you. I'm straightforward. I mean, I don't have no punches to pull. I always share them. And then I shared this one for the new people. I shared this earlier. They've already seen it. I'm going to try to put that in edit too. So we'll go there, but let me get here, 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 screen share. So you guys can see what is going on here. Now, this was like 30 feet away, like I said. What's this? Adjust. I can brighten it up. Ooh. What's that do? Oh, that's super dark. You don't want that. See that, guys? This is crazy. So yeah, we caught this. My buddy was on the trail walking, and it was like 30 feet away. And I looked in this brush pile, which was crazy. Look at that. Look at the lip. You can actually see the lip on this thing. It don't have a snout like a bear. You can see the nose. You can see the slit right there in the eye. Look at the brow ridge. Like, you see how it's like set back, and it like right here it looks like a line. That's the brow like starting to like form on this. You don't have a pointy ear. There's no damn pointy ear like a bear. This is a rounded head. This is unreal. Like, I try to share this with you guys. Let me go to there's the other one. You can see its hand, the way it was like. Screen share, edit. See the hand here? What I was showing earlier, these look like fingers. 1 digit, 2 digits, 3 digits. Okay, you posted something for sale. Terrific. And you can see, let me go here, put it in edit, adjust it up. Guys, I don't know how much clearer you guys want for a picture. I mean, I can't put it on a platter for you, but it was sleeping. I believe it was sleeping. The eyes are closed, you know, and the thing is, it looks odd. So could it be like a deformed Sasquatch? I don't know. But if you let me tell you something now. Let's look at the side of the face. I wish I could compare the other photo to this photo. But if you look at the side of the face, that red photo that I just showed, the little juvenile, I wonder if I could pull them both up, but probably not in edit. Let's try it. Let's try to go, what is that? Google Hand. Yeah, I know it's sharing. Hang on. This photo right here. So let me see if I can do this. Don't know if I'll be able to, but I'm trying. Might not be able to because it's in edit. Let's go like that. It's probably because I'm screen sharing, but it won't let me bring them both up. It should, though. I can do it here. You guys can see them there. That sucks because I wanted to bring this one up too. Hang on. Whoa, what is going on here? Won't let me open it up. Well, that's terrible. Well, anyway, what I was trying to do is Thinker Thunker did another one. She's sitting on the floor and picks up her arm. Ryan, that is an excellent picture. Thank you. Yes, the fingers and the fingernails are a dead giveaway. Yeah. Give me a second. Let me try to. I was trying to compare the two, so you guys, maybe if I get them up on the screen first, so you guys could like. I wanted to put them right next to each other. but it like won't let me. So let me see here real quick. This one, open it up. Okay. And then this one. So minimize that. Okay, so there's this one. Why is it doing that? Ha ha ha, I got it. I think I got it. So what I want to show to you is this. Move this over. Hang on. Bear with me. Is that they almost look alike in a way if it was bending forward, which is really odd unless there's different families in this area. So let me screenshot this, share this, minimize this. You guys see this now. So when we're comparing two juveniles, they're damn close. I mean, oh, don't do that to me. Let's do this then. How's that? I mean, in contrast, imagine if the one on the left was tilted down and away. You see how that, his side of his chiseled face, you see how this would look like his if he was in the same position? So are they the same one? I don't know. This one looks redder. This one looks browner. But I bet you if he was on all fours leaning forward, he might have this hair too. I don't know. But they look, I don't know. I have no idea. I know Sasquatches are real. I don't know if they both are, if they're different families, or what is going on here. This one looks weird. This is more Neanderthalish. This is more human Bigfootish. So that is a compare and contrast of the two. Could it be? I don't know if it's the same. I don't know. But they look different. But I wanted to share both those on screen so you guys could see them. I don't know what you guys think of it, but I hope you like it. I've got a lot to share this year. There's a lot coming out. I can't share it all on one podcast, guys. It don't work that way. Sorry. I can only share certain things with you, all right? Let's see. I think they are slowly starting to show us that, yeah, Ryan will get one this year for sure. I'm trying my hardest. I know where they will be, and that's what I'm going to test. I'm going to test from last year to this year, where I know that they are and where they're supposed to be and where they're going. And I'm going to try to set up ahead of time. See, I can't use trail cameras now unless they give me that permit. But the trail cameras were working. People tell you that they can't do this and they can't do that. There's certain areas, and it's almost like a full-time thing. You have to just delve into this. Let me see. Yeah, that one was a delight. Thank you. Spill the beans. I can't spill any beans. I have to share things in moderation, and as videos come up and things come out, I'll definitely share it with you guys. And I can't share everything that I have, but I'm working toward better and better photos. Okay, I bought a 4K laptop. I got a 4K camera. I'm moving into the realm of really high quality stuff, because I have 54 million blob squatches and blurry photos, and I hate that, and I don't like sharing it. So I'm all about trying to get those better pictures. And when I just shared those two juveniles with you, they make mistakes more than the parents. Okay, the parents will not move a lot of times unless they are protecting the juvenile, the baby. And that is why I think we've caught in quite a bit more juveniles than the parents. Although in my one video, You can go back down. It's Sasquatch filmed by Ryan Reading or something like that. And then we did a rendition of it where I zoomed it in. He stands up. One of the males actually just stands right up. And it's odd because he like does this thing with his arm like this for a minute. And then all of a sudden he stands up and turns around and he looks at me. And he's just standing there like frumpy, like, ugh. And as he looks at me, I don't know he's there. And I walk back toward the camera. When I pick it up, he turns around and spins off in a really fluid motion, goes back onto all fours and takes off. There's also a juvenile where I see him go like this really quick. So I don't know if he was throwing something in his mouth or if he was doing sign language. So I started practicing and reading on its ACL, it's sign language. So I'm going to try certain sign language in the woods, like friend and all kinds of stuff, to see if they will react to this sign language. I don't know, but from the video, it looked like he was on his, you know, they look like orangutans. They look like monkeys. The little ones look like they're on the ground like monkeys. And he goes, so, you know, I don't know what that is, but we'll see. I know what you mean about the Blobscotch syndrome. I hate it. Ryan, you have caught so many on video so far. The money shot is rare. They are so stealthy. The camera, the money shot you're referring to is not rare. If you gain their trust, if you habituate with them, you have no idea how close we've been to them. I had an experience where one was sitting 30 feet from me and the camera was dead. Not only was I upset that I couldn't get it on camera, but I was more interested in looking at it, watching it, interacting with it. I didn't even tell anybody. This is the first time I'm telling people. The people in my crew know what is what because they were there or they've seen it or whatever. It was about 30 feet away from us and it sat there and it was looking at us. And it was clearly a male. I could see there was something down between its legs, and it didn't, there was no, what do you call it? There was no bad blood. It wasn't like he was going to be like, he just kind of sat there. Like, you know how they sit, the bigger ones, they sit with their legs, and he was just sitting there. I'm going to guess he was around 7.5 foot. And what happened is what we do now a lot of times is you'll see us in the videos sharing certain things, you know. Remember, that's all clipped together, okay, a lot of it. We go to the core areas and we sit down. That's my biggest thing. Let them come to me. That is why it's so key to pinpoint where they're traveling at what time of year, because I can't go out in 10,000 acres and find them. I try to tell people, they're like, well, your areas aren't huge. You research 12,000 acres. I'm in the Pacific Northwest and I researched 54 million acres. And I was like, yeah, well, good luck, because the chances of you finding one is even harder. Talk about a needle in a haystack. I mean, that's what I try to tell people, but nobody really wants to listen. So when you figure out the areas to go to that core area based on the tree structures, using that to help you if they're being added to, and then you sit in those core locations and wait. And eventually they'll come to you. But the only thing is, it took me 5 months of habituating. And finally, I think the family that I got in good with, like the Jane Goodall approach, I got in good with, I think they told other families that I was there, because there was different ones. And here's a weird thing. Every time they're around, two things happen to me. My nose runs. My nose will start running. And I'll get this gut feeling. Like, I'll know they're over there. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. But like, if you catch me in my videos saying it, I'll be like, damn, I know there's something over there, or I can feel it. And then people find out, like, oh, look, at 30 seconds ago, one went running across there, or one's in a tree, or, you know, whatever. I think it's my body is able to pick up on that energy situation. Vicky, yes, the sign is for food. Oh, I know that. Yeah. That's why I kind of quit sharing. You don't see me interacting with anybody. The only thing I do on Facebook is share my videos. I'll share my video that I've put time into and research from my channel so people see it, and that's it. I'm not interacting. I'm not arguing. Nothing. You'll just see me share my videos in the groups, and that's it. That, plain and simple. I can see them even when they do that. What do you think? What do you mean? When they do what? Yeah, I can feel them. It's weird. My gut, it's like a reaction. Like I get this weird feeling in my gut. And I started paying attention to it. At first, I didn't pay attention. I didn't care. But then I was like, I got that feeling. And when I got that feeling, they're around. And I'd catch them on film. So after like the 5th time that happened, I was like, I got to start paying attention to it. So there's times where I pay attention. I'm like, let's go that way. And we'd go that way and something would happen, or we'd get a foot track. But I will say this. There are some grumpy ones, or there is something else out there. Because when I say I can feel them, I can almost feel the energies. It's weird. I'm not psychic. I'm not none of that. But I can feel, I don't know what it is, but that gut reaction. So I feel that. But the situation is, I almost know which one is which. I can say that that's the juvenile, or I think it's from so much interaction with all of them that I know. There's 8. There's actually 8 that I know of. 8 in my area. Within 5,000 acres, there's 8 that I know of. There may be more. But that gut feeling is I don't know how to explain it, but sometime if you're out there and you know what I'm talking about, you'll know. So I'll be like, let's go that way, and things just happen. Like I can't. I don't know how to explain it. Have I seen them use tools? As in what tools? Not fire. No, obviously not. I've seen them use other things. They can and will cause us to go into. Yeah, it's intuition, right? That's what I was looking for. But there are certain ones, like I was saying, that are there's either different ones or bad ones. I had one stalk me the day I was by myself, and I had that sighting because I have a rule: I won't go alone no more. So when I got down in this creek bed, I was about 200 yards from the truck, and I could see the truck. But over my shoulder in the video, I turn around, and I'm like, yeah, I know you're there. I can feel you. You hear me say this. And I think it's Sasquatch footage by Ryan Reading. Way down the page, like from last year. And I think the photo on it is like a stump of a tree. And toward the end of the video, I say that and I turn around and look up the hill, and I'm like, and I feel threatened to the point where it's here and I can't see the damn thing. So I tell it, look it, I know your friends and your friends know me, and they know I'm all right and I don't mean harm and I'm good. After that happens, within 1 minute, that ominous feeling dissipated. It went away. So I think that there are singular ones that will do harm to you and stuff like that, but it's not a general consensus. But there are some maybe that are loners or sick or some, I don't know. But it was definitely checking me out. What do we got here? Talk about people having them in their backyard. Ever since I made my channel and got hundreds of thousands of views, my county has exploded. People have called me, messaged me. I have a lady right now in Little Valley. I haven't been able to make it out there, but I'm going to make it out there. A friend of mine, Dan, did make it out there. I want to go see what she has. They've had some issues with sounds and noises and being threatened and all kinds of stuff, to the point where they tried to break in her house. A lot of things, but a lot of people won't come forward and talk about this. Me, I know they're real. I'm getting proof. I don't care. I don't care what somebody says. I know what's going on. I know what the truth is. And if I can get it out there and share it, that's what I'm going to do. That's what it is. In the beginning, you'll be scared. to do that. Rocks and sticks, yeah, I've seen them use that. I actually have a video where they were clacking back to us. It might be in Rolling Hills video or a different video. We were sitting in a creek bed and I heard one clack. So I picked up 2 rocks and clacked, and there was a consecutive 6 in a row. There was 3 in a row. I answered again. There was a consecutive 6 in a row. You know, I've seen them throw things. I've seen them use things. They're very smart. Lindy, you say they have zapping. Trust me. Get away from that. I not worked, but I talked with a few people in groups, you know, Surge and Sir and all these other people. Sonar, they're looking at a bunch of other things. Infrasound. If you look at it as a frequency standpoint and take a cell phone and put it next to a radio, remember that sound? Remember that that's interference, right? Look at them. We vibrate. We're energy. We're like 528 kilohertz, I think. We vibrate at a certain plane. If they vibrate higher and we come in close contact with them, that field is going to affect us and get us sick, right? They're not zapping. Oh, it'll cause great anxiety because your body's it's running into something that it doesn't understand. So you get sick. Yes, anxiety, totally. But look at it try to get away from the infrasound. I'm trying to get people away from that because that was the belief for so long, and we don't have no proof of that. So you're telling me that they're sending signals out of their head like dolphins, and I don't believe that. I believe that their energy is so strong that when our plane comes into that, that's what happens. We get sick. It's like taking a cell phone, putting it to the radio, and it would make that noise. It's that electrical interference. And that's why people are like, oh my God, I got zapped, because they don't know what to think. They don't understand we're trying to be rational, right? We're trying to be. So name another animal that gives off infrasound like that. They say that they do. They say there's other animals that do, but I don't know. I'm leaning more toward it's the way their energy is. And when we come in contact with it, it's like the cell phone radio thing, just plain and simple. Like a vibration, right? It's like a vibration, exactly. We as people vibrate. You don't see that, but we're on a plane. It's our energy, auras and stuff, all that. Yeah. So it's like theirs. When we run into their energy, I can't see that they're sitting there zapping us. That's illogical. I don't even know who came up with that. Start paying attention to that. Like us, they do get bitchy. Of course they do. When you get into these certain areas, you know what they do too? You know what they like to do when we're using trail cameras? This is how they trip them off. They'll take a stick and they'll go like that. And that thing has to trigger. And in that trigger time, they get what they're going to get and get out. You ever catch them on the sides like this? You'll catch like right off to the side. They'll move a stick. It's crazy. They're so intelligent. But until you gain their trust, and until they know what's what, I tell them everything I'm going to do. People are like, well, I can't believe that. Well, I tell them, you can have this food. I want a good picture. When I have my camera in my hand, I tell them this before it comes on. This is a camera, not a gun. I yell this stuff out in the woods. You'll feel like an idiot, like a retard, because you're talking to the trees. But they're there, and they hear you say that, and they know that you're talking to them. I have a piece on SoundCloud, actually. I did a lot of audio research last year to the point where it was exhausting because you have to listen to hours and hours. So I sent it off. I was talking to Ron Moorhead for a while. I sent it over to Scott Nelson and to another gentleman on Facebook, Monongahela. Both gentlemen were linguists, and they know things. In language, what they look for is morphemes and phenoms. Okay, that's just technical shit for saying it's indicative of language, right? So I sent this clip from SoundCloud over to them, and they did find that it was indicative of language, that there was 3 or 4 morpheme or something in it. I couldn't remember what it was, But what it was is this whole clip was about 15 minutes. And I believe a juvenile kills a deer. It sounds like he jumps out of a tree onto a deer and crushes the deer's windpipe. It sounds like, if you're a hunter, you know what a deer sounds like when they like snort. But this sounds like something is compressing on it, and you can hear the air physically being pushed out of this deer. I'm almost positive it's a deer. And then a few minutes later, I hear the juvenile going nuts, yelling, screaming, screaming, crazy screams, breaking branches and stuff. And then it goes quiet. And then what I believe is, what would happen if you conquered your prey? You'd celebrate, right? So I think that's what it was. And then it's weird, but when you're deep into this, you start understanding things, and you can't explain it to people. So then he starts yelling off a little bit, like 5 minutes later, he's yelling and screaming. And I think he's yelling at whoever for taking the deer, which I think it was an older male. And he's screaming and screaming and screaming, and you can hear the crows in the background, mind you. So it's not crows. This is loud screaming. You can tell the difference. And the old male toward the end of this one thing says what I believe is, go lay down, shut up, or I don't know if he says shut up, but it says go lay down, but it's fast. It's like go la la. That's what it sounds like. Go la la. And maybe if you slow it down, you can tell, but it sounds like he says go lay down, and then that juvenile continues to scream as it goes away, and finally it stops and it's gone where it went away. So I think that the male was yelling at him. It's a really cool clip. And we caught it at 5:45 in the morning, or 5 a.m. in the morning, something like that. And that was roughly, we call it the green room. We call this area the green room, because everything will be like dead around it, and it's like this whole 100-yard by 100-yard area is green floor. It's really weird. We call it the green room. But I caught that in there, and there's a ridge by it, and it's awesome. It just some of the, I'm Ryan Reading on SoundCloud. You guys want to check them out? You can see them there. It'll be like, if this is not language, I don't know what is. There's like 4 in a row that are like interesting. There's some howls on there way back. Some of them you'll need headphones, and see some of them are hard to hear, but them ones are definitely not. You'll hear some howls. Yep, elephants, tigers, turkeys, they do. Right, yep. But have you ever heard of them getting people sick? I never heard of an elephant, tiger, or turkey pumping out infrasound getting us sick. You see the difference? You see where I'm kind of going with this? I'm trying to change the whole thought correlation on that. They're clever and sneaky. Well, they have to be, because we destruct everything that we touch. So they need to survive. But I think if I keep going at this rate, I'll be able to sit down fully with them, which sounds like an unreal claim to even make, that I can get one to sit and talk with me. I don't know if I'll be able to get it on camera, but I'm going to try. Like I said, they've come to grow on me, and as long as they're coming back, and whatever they let me do is what I'm going to share. Let's put it that way. If they continue to come back to the certain area, I'm going to share it and show you guys. Thanks. You listen to SoundCloud. I think it is totally possible. It's possible, but your anxiety, and when you're that close to them, it's scary, because not all of them look peachy keen, okay? Not all of them are cute. Some of them are hideous. And you know what worries me too is that I think the population, like I said, is like 8 that I know, because there's 8 different ones. But I think there's inbreeding going on, because I caught this 2-toed one on 2 different occasions, and I have a cast of it. And it's just a 2-toed one. So either it was a malformation or a deformity, but I'm hoping that there's not inbreeding or interbreeding going on amongst this one, because interbreeding can kill them off quicker and cause them to be meaner, because they're not all there. You know what I mean? They're like our mentally retarded people that have you know, issues. We have to put them in homes and do certain things and cater to them because they're not normal. Well, you can't do that for a Bigfoot. So they do off the wall things. And supposedly these are the ones the government comes in and kills. Like they know that they're there, but whatever. So we've all heard those stories. Anyway, let's see. Have you read the book called Enoch? I've read parts of it, yes. I've read a lot of things about the Nephilim, all kinds of stuff. But let's see. If they can trust us not to reveal their locations, just butt ugly, but change our own thinking, then we can face them with no fear. It's hard. It's really hard when you're that close. Trust me. I don't know if you've had them that close, but when they're just sitting there staring at you, I mean, they don't move. They just stare at you like this. They don't move. They don't even blink. I'm telling you, it's spooky, but I don't share this nowhere else but on my YouTube, because I don't care if people believe me or what, but I'm keeping the evidence coming, and hopefully I get that permit and I'll use the cameras out there and do what I need to do, and that's what it is. But for now, guys, I got to get out of here. It's 10 o'clock. I need to eat something and take a shower. I hope you liked everything. I'll be doing more lives now that I got this whole new thing figured out with the computer. I appreciate y'all for being here. Like, sub, share, support. Thank you. And I like all the questions. Sorry I didn't have it up earlier. And as time goes on, I'll start sharing things and more clips and more things that you like. If you're not a believer, I'll make you a believer. Later, guys. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. End this. Love you. Like, sub, share.